My name is Ruby Lambert, and I'm a trans woman living in Wales. In this series, I'm travelling around Wales to meet people who are trying to make a positive impact on transgender lives. Our first stop's Cardiff, where we've arranged to meet with representatives of Transaid Cymru.
I'm Sam. My pronouns are they, them.
Oh god, I thought you were going to say something else about yourself. I'm Rudy, my pronouns are he, him. Should we say what we do at people always ask what our positions are.
We're both part of the management team. We also do other things as well. I mostly work in the administration side of things. Rudy does a lot of the answering emails, like advocacy work, dealing with people who are like in urgent situations. And together we're sort of 1/3 of Transaid Cymru. We are part of Transaid Cymru, and as like an organisation, we run mostly a bunch of projects, and then we also have a bunch of different grants. So we've got 3 grants at the moment. We have general grants that go out twice a month. They're just sort of small grants, and they can be for literally anything. So some people are like, hey, I'm really struggling to buy food this month, I don't have any money. Other people it'd be like, hey, I need some help with money towards my train ticket to go to London for my appointment, like lots of different stuff. And then we have fundraiser boosters, which we basically like give £50 to a trans, intersex or non-binary person's fundraiser, and then we like boost it on social media for a week or 2. We do a bunch of different projects. One of them is the meal share scheme, which at the moment mostly runs in quite a small area of Cardiff, but we have quite a few service users who are quite a bit further out, where we just get volunteers to make home cooked meals that can be frozen and then given to people who are needing a meal for any reason. We've actually got a couple of full-time service users at the moment, whose pretty much their entire week's food is those meals that get made by volunteers. So we do surgery recovery packs.
Oh, yeah.
That's a fairly new thing we started that in the summer this year.
I was the guinea pig.
Yeah, Rudy was the guinea pig. So we basically put together a pack of stuff like micropore surgery tape, bandages or plasters if you need them, a spare post-op binder, bio oil to reduce scarring, all those kind of things clothes, all those kind of things that you might need after gender affirming surgery. And we basically put those packs together based on community feedback from people who've had those surgeries, and what they said, I really wish I'd had this, or this was really helpful. And so now if anyone has gender affirming surgery, we'll put together one of those packs for them. They can select the items that they want and don't want, and we'll get that all sorted for them. We've done about 7 or 8 so far.
Oh, really?
But yeah, we're really eager to continue that. And it's the kind of thing, actually, it amounts to quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these packs are sort of like £80, £150 sometimes. And a lot of it is sort of comfort items, you've got like a pillow wedge, for example, to help you like sit up in bed. But actually, if you just come out of surgery, it's not really a luxury to have that kind of thing. You do need it.
Yeah.
And if someone is in the kind of position that a lot of our service users are in, where they're like, struggling to pay rent, they're not being able to afford any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. we do meetups every 2 weeks, usually at a local community centre, which are we've only started doing them like in the last few months since COVID lockdowns have eased. For ages we were doing Zoom ones, but then we moved back in person, and they're brilliant. Like, a lot of the time people are coming and they're dressed how they want to be dressed for the first time, you know, they're still closeted, and because it's in a community centre, obviously it's very private, so people could like come, you know, in their normal quote-unquote clothes and then change into the clothes they want to be wearing, and everyone has a name tag with their pronouns on, so everyone gets named and gendered how they want to be if they're not presenting how you would assume. So those would be massive.
We were a little bit nervous at first about like spending money on, like, you know, because there are so many urgent needs in the community, spending money on like just meeting up, but actually they've been so vital for like building community. Like, there are so many trans people now who've connected with other trans people and then started meeting up on their own outside of those groups, and like you just said, giving people the opportunity to present how they want to present in a private space with pretty much only other trans people there has been like so important. Yeah.
It massively boosts morale. Like, morale was obviously at an all-time low after the lockdown. No one had seen anyone for months, literally. And being in person, like, the atmosphere is just electric. Like, you'll feel it later. It's honestly just, everyone is so happy. It's such a nice space. Even when like there's horrors going on like outside, like it's always, everyone's just so happy to see each other.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously because isolation is such a huge issue for the trans community, especially trans youth. If they're, you know, if they've been at home in lockdown with unaffirming parents or siblings, like that must be really, really hard. And then, you know, to be able to come to a space where they could just be safe and be themselves is like, it's vital for the community's health.
Yeah, absolutely. It's frustrating sometimes because I feel like a lot of trans activism is focused on like normalising us and like getting acceptance from cis people, and it takes up a lot of energy, and ultimately, like, personally, I don't think that that's a very... I think there's too many resources being thrown at it when like people are literally like homeless and starving.
It's a pretty fruitless endeavour anyway, because
I didn't want to say it.
I mean, yeah, like begging people to see you as human is not a good way. It's not sustainable because it's exhausting, you know, and it's we're never going to be seen as normal or acceptable by sort of polite cis het society, you know. And I wouldn't want to be. Like, I love the fact that we're so weird. And that's, like, one of the things that I love about going to the meetups is seeing such gender diversity and people wearing the most, like, obscene things. Like, and I'm like, man, I love this. Like, no one here is afraid to be weird. And it makes me feel so much more confident to just be like, who cares if this looks, like, really weird? I'll put it on because I love it. Like, and I love how it makes me feel. And, you know, having the confidence to do that. Yeah, but that's why we started, really. I think we were just, all of us, so tired of begging like cis society to see us as human, and, you know, trying to enact change through the sort of electoral political system that we have. And it's like you put so much energy in, and you just get nothing.
Yeah. Well, like, this was before trans recovery. Like, when I say we, in this sense, we're talking about us as, we were friends and, like, local, you know, we did what we could by ourselves, like, activist-wise. And a lot of, back then, to be honest, a lot of it was just explaining to cis people the issues on social media. Like I said, I did some conferences, but mostly, you know, it was just like, hello, this is an issue that's happening, please give a shit, and they never really did. But anyway, we worked our absolute backsides off during the GRA reform consultation. We absolutely really worked our hardest on it. We got everyone to fill it out. Like, it was just mobilisation, you know, that hadn't been that mainstream in, well, as long as I'd been on the scene. And then obviously it got dropped just like that, even though it was 70% in favour, it just got dropped. And I think that was the moment for us, wasn't it? That we were just like, nah, fuck this, no way. Like, we were just like, nah. Like, we played the game, we played Westminster's game, we filled it out, we filled in the little form, we got everyone to fill out the little form, and everyone was like, yeah, it's actually a good idea. And they were like, throws it in the bin because they didn't like the thing. Like, no, we were like, no, we're not doing this anymore. And the first thing we did as a collective was allegedly organise a protest. We helped allegedly organise a protest outside Cardiff Castle, and it was like 48 hours. I think we had. I think 150 people turned up, but mostly trans people, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was just. I think then we kind of realised that actually there is grassroots support.
Yeah.
And just because we don't have it in Westminster doesn't mean there's not.
There was such palpable anger and frustration that day. And obviously, in 48 hours, so many people turned up. And I think for us as well, it was almost like an eye-opening moment, being like, well, we can take all this passion, and instead of just getting angry at the fact that the system isn't working, we can just do stuff ourselves. We've got so much energy and support in this community. We need to actually do something. We didn't set out to make an organisation.
No,
we were just like, we just want to redistribute money from the people who have it and say they want to help to the people who need it.
Yeah.
And it just happened so quickly, and we within a few weeks we were already like somebody that, you know, people in the Welsh Gender Service were like, oh hey, these guys exist, you can go, like, if you need some support you might want to talk to them. And so quickly we were suddenly a group that people were depending on.